Somebody say, speak to me. Amen. Listen, a lot of times what we do when we preach, we try and be corporate. Amen. And that's what we need to do, because we are the body. Say amen. But I've been talking about this for quite some time. There are individual things that you need to go through for corporate purposes. Somebody say, this fight, I'm by myself. Come on. I'm finna give you the word. Say, this fight, I'm by myself. I'm by myself. Not I'm not by myself. I'm by myself. I'm by myself. I'm not talking about nobody abandoned you. I'm talking about you by yourself. Okay, let me give you the text, because I got to make sure that we get this, because this word right here, I don't know if this is going to be expected out this text, but nevertheless, it's what the Lord said. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis chapter 32. I'm going to begin with verse 24. Watch the text. Then Jacob was left alone. Y'all got to understand, little stuff be doing stuff to me. It be little stuff to me. I know we want deep revelation. It be little stuff that get me. Then Jacob was left alone. Somebody say, I'm by myself. And a man wrestled with him until the breaking of day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip. Somebody say, a shift. He touched the socket of his hip. And the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled with him. So as he's wrestling with him, something has been displaced. But he continues to wrestle. The text says, I got to slow it down sometime. It says, as he was wrestling. Okay. And he said, let me go. This is what the man says. The man says, let me go, for the day breaks. But he said, Jacob said, I will not. Say, I refuse. I will not let you go until you bless me. So he said to him, what is your name? He said, Jacob. Wrong answer. And he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. I know who you've been, but now I'm telling you who you're about to become. For you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. I feel this thing in my soul. Then Jacob asked, saying, tell me your name, I pray. And he said, why is it that you ask about my name? This ain't about me. Sometimes God sends somebody to deal with you. You don't even need to know who they are. Who I am at this precise moment is irrelevant to the context of the text. What's your name? Or let me ask, what was? Okay. Tell me your name, I pray. And he said, why is it that you ask about my name? And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel. For I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Just as he crossed over Peniel, it's interesting because it's the same place, different spelling, but Peniel, the sun rose on him, and he limped. On his hip. What happens when you've been disfigured to be delivered? Take your seats. Watch this. Let me give you the framework. Genesis 31, Jacob has been instructed by the Lord, return to the land of your fathers and to your family, and I'll be with you. He carried all his livestock and all his possessions. Somebody say all his possessions, which he had gained. After settling a dispute with his father-in-law, Laban, Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. In returning to the land of his fathers, he seeks acceptance from his previously estranged brother Esau. Genesis 31, 38, I believe, accounts for 20 years. 20 years of separation. It's been a long time. This was the time that he spent with Laban. At this point, Jacob is dealing with a few things. He's dealing with unworthiness because God has shown him favor, but he don't feel like it. He's dealing with unworthiness. This is around about verse 11, but he's dealing with unworthiness. He's dealing with unease because he doesn't know how Esau's going to receive him. He's dealing with uncertainty because it's unease, it's uncertainty. I don't know how this is going to plan out. But Father, you told me to go back. What happens when God tells you to go back to where you've been? He petitions God for deliverance from his brother. Now, listen close, for real. There are particular fights that pick us. I'm going to say it again because I need you to lay on that one. There are particular fights that pick us. The text says Jacob was left alone. In other words, the man, the angel, the man of God, waited until he was by himself. The text says he was left alone. You can look at this like an ambush. You can look at this, God help my soul. You can look at this like an assault. You can look at this like an attack. Watch this. What happens when the attacks are angelic? Because we talk about demonic attacks. What happens when the attack is angelic? I'm talking about the text. I'm talking about, he talking about the text. Talk about the text. Here's a thought. Here's a question, rather. Are we persistent enough? Are we persistent enough to fight through the darkness? Because he didn't fight him in the daylight. He waited till it got nighttime. He didn't do it where everybody else could see it. He didn't wait till your friends was around. He didn't wait till your church was around. Watch this. He didn't even wait till your enemies was around. He waited till you was by yourself. How is it that he's brought all of his family? He's got so many people with him, he's called the place that he was in 2 camps. And he called it two camps because he sent one camp to see if it was all good with his brother. And he kept one camp with him. But that's how many people. He said, we have become two camps. Y'all know what I'm talking about? He has all these people around him, but somehow he's left by himself. The text says he's left alone. Anybody been left alone to battle by yourself? He's been left alone. On another note, are we bold enough to battle by ourselves? Because sometimes, watch this, sometimes we're calling on God and God sent the person who's fighting you. I want to deal with the text. Father, deliver me. You're going to have to take this one. Let me see what you made of. You talk a good talk. You say you're ready to fight for what's yours. You say you're willing to fight for the faith. What happens when the attacks are angelic? Get this, it's natural to wrestle with what's spiritually right for us. I don't know if I can lay this on like I be wanting to. Verse 26, and he said, let me go for the day breaks. Somebody say the day breaks. For the day breaks. But he said, I will not let go unless you bless me. Somebody say a release for a release. We know who he's wrestling. He's wrestling a man whose name is undisclosed. We know what he's wrestling for is not a birthright. He has the birthright. It's not belongings. The reason why I went back to chapter 31 is to tell you that he had everything that he had gained. He had all of his belongings. So it's not for a birthright. It's not for belongings. It's for a blessing. What kind of blessing? That's not a birthright or belongings. Because a lot of us, we parallel blessings with things, with stuff. When we see somebody getting some stuff, we say they're blessed. When we're seeing things happen for them that we wish we could happen for us, we say they're blessed. He's got everything in his possession. He ain't lost nothing. He has more than what he left with 20 years ago. And he's still wrestling for a blessing. Anybody have what you need, but you're still wrestling for a blessing? Okay. I'll take my time. We know when he's wrestling. We know a lot about this. We know when he's wrestling. He's wrestling at night, all night, until the breaking of day. Say at night. Say all night. Say until. We know where he's wrestling. I got to get it down. We know where he's wrestling. It's a place called Peniel, meaning face of God or facing God. The question is, at least for me, is why is he wrestling so desperately? Because he could have gave up when they pushed his hip out of socket, but he kept wrestling until daybreak. I don't know when his hip was dislocated, but I do know that he kept fighting. I know it feels like you're getting beat up in the spirit, but I challenge you to keep on. I know it feels like you're getting beat up in the natural, but I'm here to tell somebody, keep on fighting. Why is he wrestling so desperate? What blessing could make him battle like this? He has promise. He has permission. God told him to go back. He has permission. He has possessions. He's got position. He's large and in charge. Here's the interesting thing, though. He has no peace within. So even before he goes to battle, he's at war with himself. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Watch this, Hosea 12:4. The text reveals, yes, he struggled with an angel and prevailed. He wept. We didn't have that detail in Genesis. He wept. How did you win, but you're still weeping? Because he won, but he hadn't collected his prize. He wept and sought favor from him. Jacob was fighting for favor. The covenant he just made, just back there in chapter 31, barred him from going back to where he'd been, hear me close, recently. It barred him from going back where he'd been recently. Is Jigar, say Hadutha, Gilead. It means pile of witness. It's also known as mitzvah, watchtower. Somebody say watchtower. This is where we have the infamous may the Lord watch between me and thee while we are absent one from another. By the way, it's not a benediction, it's beef on site. That's on site. Look, we gonna make a covenant. You stay over there, I'ma stay over here. We gonna raise this monument up so we know what the line is. Don't cross that line. So he can't go back to where he's been recently, but he has to go back to where he's been previously. Well, I don't know about y'all. This thing is talking to me. You can't go back to where you've been recently because you made a covenant. Let me say it again. You can't go back to where you've been recently because you made a covenant. But you got to go back to where you've been previously because you have an assignment. Listen, covenants can create borders and barriers that bar us from what's behind us. I know he made a covenant with his enemy, but I need y'all to hear the principle. Let me say it one more time. Covenants can create borders and barriers that bar us from what's behind us. Okay. We might have to go back to where we've been physically, but not back to the ills of how we've been and the ills of how we used to be. Because sometimes God will send you home, but you can't go back like Joel. You can't go back home like Jacob. And I wish they could hear what I'm trying to preach. Say, I can't go back home like Jacob. One more time. Say, I can't go back home like Jacob. If I want to go to the land of my father. Okay, let me get back to the text. If you want to go back to the land of your fathers, you can't go back like Jacob. I don't know if I'm doing this right. And so Jacob experienced a battle of becoming. A battle of becoming thrill. What happens when the battle that you're fighting is about yourself? Who you used to be versus who you need to be. Who you have been versus who you're called to be. Who you used to act like and who you're assigned to be. He'd been broken. And now, somebody say it now. And now he could be blessed afresh. Because sometimes we don't understand that we're already occupying a blessing. Because we need a blessing afresh. It's not that we don't appreciate that we've been blessed. But God, I need a blessing. Anybody know what I'm talking about? God, I need a blessing afresh because what I've been going through is driving me crazy. I know you sent me and I went, but I'm at war with where I'm going. God help me. I said, I know you sent me and I went, but I'm at war with where I'm going. Let me say it one more time. I know that you sent me and I went, but I'm at war with where I'm going. Anybody know that you've been sent, but you're at war with where you're going? And you think it's because of who you have to face. But it ain't Esau that you got to face. It's God. For instructional purposes, God is like, fight me. God, I want to change. God, I feel a shift in my life. How bad you want this shift? I told you this ain't the shift that you might be used to, because this one is going to leave a mark. God, help my soul. Say, this shift going to leave a mark. Okay. Consider this, Lord. Walking in his flesh from this point was no longer going to be comfortable. I just want you to think about that. From this point on, after this encounter, somebody say, after this encounter, walking in my flesh won't be comfortable. I can't walk like Jacob from this day on. I got to walk like Israel. And Israel looked like something's wrong with him. But Israel's been delivered. God help my soul. And that's why sometimes somebody like, what's wrong with you? You don't even understand. I've been in a fight all night. God sent me here. And before I got to where I thought I needed to go, he ambushed me. I didn't see it coming. Nobody else saw it coming because I was by myself. I wasn't abandoned. I was left alone on purpose. Say, I got to battle this one by myself because it's about myself. I got to battle this one by myself because it's about myself. I can't leave this conflict walking like Jacob. I won't leave this confrontation, this encounter, this shift, there's no way, because I'm not facing Esau, because Esau can't change me. Watch this. I can't change me. But when I face God, when I'm having difficulties getting over myself, all the stuff that I done, sometimes God got to beat me into my senses. I know we might not want to hear this. And in that moment, you don't even know who you're fighting with. That's why he asked him his name. Who are you? We know that angels came into camp. You think if he would have been for sure that it was an angel, that he wouldn't address them that way? That's just a thought. It says a man. And then he says, what's your name? There's some studies that presume which angel it was, but the text doesn't give us that. The man said, why you want to know my name? Watch this. He says, why do you want to know my name? This ain't about me. This is about you. Say this one. This one's about me. Can I say this? When we have a hitch in the spirit, watch the dynamic. When we have a hitch in the spirit, is Jacob acting up. You know, sometimes when you feel that little pain from that injury that you sustained some time ago, that's just my arthritis acting up. Because when something don't feel right when you're walking in your natural, you start talking to it. That's just my ankle sprain acting up. That's just an old break. God help my soul. That's just an old break acting up. See, because in the natural, he walked with a limp. But in the spirit, he was walking upright. But every time you have a hitch in the spirit, that's your Jacob acting up. That's Jacob grabbing your heel. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Somebody say, nevertheless. The limp lets me know I fought for this favor. The limp, the people look at me in the natural, lets me know some of the things that I'm going through in my body. Let me know. The limp lets me know that I fought for this favor. Somebody say, I fought for this favor. And God's got me. What if I told you the breaking point brought the blessing? The reason why some of us haven't been brought out is because we're not willing to fight beyond the breaking point. I got to say it again. The reason why some of us haven't been brought out because we didn't fight beyond the breaking point. Because when you broke, you expected God to come in, and God was like, no, let me see if you're going to fight until the day breaks. I don't need you to fight until when you break. I need you to fight until the day breaks. Somebody say, fight till the light come. Until dawn breaks. You might break me, but you won't break my fight. Because there's some stuff that's at war with me. I know I used to be a booger. Let's be real. Because God had ordained that this was going to happen before I was born. But then I tried to get in the mix. Mama tried to get in the mix because mama thought that she knew what was best for me. And so mama had me looking like other folks. Mama had me acting like my brother, but God wanted me the whole time. There are folks who raised you who will try to manipulate your call to God. And God already ordained it. God don't need you to help them. And some of us think that we're going to acquire the blessing in a costume. Because we feel like this gonna work. You know when somebody give you a good plan. Come on now. You act like you ain't agreed to some stuff that was outside of the call of God. This feel like it's gonna work. Watch this. You think the real blesser can't see? You don't think the real blesser can feel you? You thought the blessing was going to come from daddy. But the blessing don't come from daddy. The blessing comes from the Father. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because protocol says that you shouldn't get it. But protocol don't matter when you're dealing with the potter, because he makes the protocol. He says, I'm going to call the younger one. The younger one is going to rule. Hold on, wait a minute. You mean that God will override our culture? Well, in our culture, bump your culture. What did the Lord say? Well, this one was supposed to. See, I ain't talking about the side of my neck. See, I'm the younger one. You understand what I'm saying? And so sometimes when you're in a position where you don't expect, hello, David. When you don't expect that God's going to use you. Hello, Gideon. Gideon said, my family is the least of the whole city, and I am the least of my family. And God was like, good. But Gideon had an issue where he didn't see himself like that. And Israel has the promises of God. He's got more. He's coming back with more than he left with. And he thinks his brother's going to be the issue. He thinks that it's going to be war with his brother when the battle was with God. And sometimes we're in a season where we're thinking that we got to address this person, and God was like, nah, you got to face me. Some of us are like, if I could just get right with them. I know what I did in the past. If I could just get on their team. And God's like, nah, face me. Are you hearing what I'm saying? The breaking point brought the blessing. If you're not ready, if we're not ready to battle beyond the breaking point, can you really say you fought for favor? We can't earn it, but sometimes we got to fight for it. Because we're acting like because he won the favor. He didn't have to leave him a favor. Because watch this. After he won, he wept. Because he wept before he realized what he was fighting for was going to be realized. He wept. And then he sought. He said, I'm seeking you for favor. I've been fighting all night, and I made it to daybreak. But something's missing. Can't get around like I used to. And that's all right. But something's missing. Watch this. I'm hobbled, but I'm his. There's a bodily injury. I hope somebody hear me by the Spirit. There's a bodily injury, but a heavenly impartation. Say it one more time. There's a bodily injury, but there's a heavenly impartation. It hurts you in your natural, but it helped you in your spirit. I sought the Lord 3 times. Y'all think I'm just coming from this text? And he said, my grace. No, I'm not healing that one. Matter of fact, I need that there. You ain't going to get right until I dislocate some stuff about your past. I'm about to break you off. No. Hear it again. I'm about to break you off. Can we say, I fought for the favor? This is Jacob's story. Can we say, I fought for the favor of a divine identity? I didn't fight to stay like I've been. I didn't win to stay like I've been. Let me say it again. Somebody say, I didn't win to stay like I've been. I ain't fight all this time just to stay the same stubborn person I used to be, the same rebellious person I used to be, the same trickster that everybody called me and that I was. Because he was a trickster. And some of y'all was tricking too. Some of us, I was tricking. So don't nobody think I'm talking about them. I was tricking. That's why it's hard for some of us to walk by faith, because we keep falling for tricks. Tricks are for kids. I mean goats. I mean kids. I'm almost out your way for real, for real. Somebody say, I've been provoked to prevail. For whom this may apply. Say, I'm broken, but I'm blessed. I'm broken, but I'm blessed. Because I fought all night. Watch this. I'm not talking about one night. I'm talking about the extent of darkness that you've been facing. Some of us been in the night for a long time, fighting because we think we have to face somebody when we really have to face God, because God is trying to do something different with us. God is saying, I don't want you to be like you used to be. That's your Jacob acting up. I want Israel. I'm not calling you Jacob no more, except when you act like him. Because this is when he gets the news. He's going to be called Israel. We got to get to chapter 35 before God comes and he says, you will no longer, I am not calling you Jacob no more. Your name, I got a word for the whole church. Your name is Israel. Okay. I don't know if the church received what I just said. I don't know if the church you trying to work. I said your name is Israel. There's some places that you can't go back to. You were just there a few days ago, and you were over there for 20 years. Say, I was over there for years. Whatever your there is. I was over there for years. Am I talking to anybody in the house? But then God said, go back. And I thought it was because of someone I had to face. I thought it was because of something I had to face. But he says, no, it's me you got to face. And I'm going to wait until you're by yourself. And you're going to be calling on me, and I'm going to be the one that's battling with you. Can you battle? This is inventory. This is inventory right here. Can you battle beyond the breaking point? Are we willing to be broken but blessed? Give God a hand clap of praise all over this place. I hope you heard the word. I hope you heard the word. What happens when the attacks are angelic? What if you've been crediting an attack to the devil and it wasn't even him? The devil didn't do that. The devil. What happens when the injury is how you got your impartation? What about when the ailment is your assignment? Somebody say the limp lets me know. I don't look the same to normal folks. Normal folks say there's something different about you. Sometimes we'll even say it in church. You walking heavy, doc. That's because I'm walking with a limp. That's how I look naturally. But I was provoked to prevail. God started this fight, and he wants you to finish it. Why do you think Paul says, I fought? Is anybody fighting the good fight of favor that doesn't have anything to do with a birthright? That doesn't have anything to do with belongings? This is not a typical or conventional blessing that I'm looking for. I need to beat me out of me. Okay, let me give you more. I mortify myself. I got to get rid of this because sometimes, I'll talk about myself, sometimes my Jacob get to acting up. Now, if you say this word beat you up, mission accomplished. Give him another hand for praise. Come on, but give him another hand clap of praise. Come on, somebody say, I've been broken, but I'm blessed. Say, I've been broken, but I'm blessed. I don't belong where I've been. I belong where you sent me. And sometimes I've been at war with where I'm going, but this time it's not the enemy. It's not my brethren. I gotta face God. Somebody say, I'm broken, but I'm blessed. Come on, celebrate it one more time. I got what I want. So why do I have no peace? Yeah, I want this one to sit with you a little while. At night. All night. Until the day breaks. I'm fighting till daylight. It's because it's something in me that's got to be dislocated. Side note, the children of Israel don't even eat the hip muscle. Hold on, let me say this again. The children of Israel don't even eat the hip muscle. You want to know why? Because that limp let them know. That's the text. I ain't got to. That's the text, man. It's to this day. To this day. I won't even put that in my body. Oh, Lord. I don't know if I did that right. But I did it how he told me to do it. I ain't no, look. One of my friends called me and reminded me yesterday. He said, bro, you don't give nothing but meat and potatoes. Don't come here for dessert. It's steak and potatoes over here. Yeah, this one sit with you. This one, you can't blame shift on this one. You can't say the devil did it. Nope, not this one. You can't say church hurt. This some church hurt for real. I'm sorry, I know I asked this question about a million times, but what happens? I don't know, this is what got me. What happens when the attacks are angelic?